Yeah, but this is Scoots running through why people support the show. And maybe you're maybe you're similar to this person, right? So put yourself in their shoes, because maybe you're the person I'm counting on tonight. The show's counting on. And you're saying, yeah, I think Scooter has been trying to get through to me. I've been putting off supporting the show for a few years, but maybe I am the one. Because I remember what my bedtime was like, what the deep, dark night was like before Sleep With Me. I'll never forget what my bedtime was like before this show. And I don't want to go back there. It's finally sunk in that this show needs people like me to support the show back to exist. If I don't support the show or someone else doesn't support it for me, the podcast will be gone. So I'm going to go right now to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus and sign up and support the show. So I don't have to worry about that. And as soon as they do, I'll set up the bonus content later, but I'll support the show right now in this moment. sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. And then they feel this relief. Now I don't got to worry about it. Now I got access to all this great bonus content, ad-free episodes, story-only episodes. But my $60, my $120, my $7 a month has changed the entire future of the podcast for me and everybody else. Wow, that's relieving. So thank you to all the people that do that. And thank you for considering it tonight.
This show is supported by Odoo. When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com. This show is supported by Blue Land. We hear a lot about microplastics in oceans and food, but they can also come from products we use every day at home, including cleaning products. Blue Land is on a mission to make it easy for everyone to make sustainable choices. Blue Land believes that hardworking, clean products can be the norm, not the exception, so that you can do better for your family and the planet at the same time. From cleaning sprays and toilet bowl cleaner to dishwasher and laundry detergent tablets, Blue Land's products are independently tested to perform alongside major brands, and the formulas are free from dyes, parabens, and harsh chemicals. You'll love not having to choose between the safe option and what actually gets your house clean. Blue Land is a certified B Corp and Leaping Bunny cruelty-free certified. Their formulas are EPA's Safer Choice certified, and many products have also earned Cradle to Cradle's Gold Material Health Certificate. If you're looking to make a small change in your routine, you can get 15% off your first order at blueland.com/prx. Get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/prx. blueland.com/prx.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster. You know, one time I listened to so many episodes, I said podcast, but that's not quite Ray. But I'm a bit odd, speaking of podcasts, when the caster's odd, that's me, the odd caster. Odds? Don't tell me about the odds. I'm the odd caster. I mean, I could be in one of those shows, maybe more of a parody show where it's who's up next, who's opposing our heroic figures, the oddcaster. What does he do? He rambles like he just is himself, which, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a bit odd. It's also ovular. He's got ovular logic. Well, what purpose does it serve? Because I just tuned into this show for the first time, and I'm already confused. Oh, great question. Welcome to Sleep With Me. It's a podcast that's here to keep you company and put you to sleep. It's a bit different, though. You're right. It's been around for a long time. It does take a couple tries to get used to, so maybe that's what you're experiencing, because it is so different. It's kind of like calling a friend in the middle of the night and having them talk to you about nonsense, but with the purpose of just keeping you company so that you could fall asleep. But in this case, there's no social compact, so I'm just here to talk to you. But it is a bit different. What we got coming up is support, so it can be free for you. Then there's a long, meandering intro, which is separate from the support, meant to ease you into bedtime, not to put you to sleep. And then later on, it'll be our episodically modular series multiplex. And so that's what to expect coming up here on Sleep With Me. So glad you're here. Give it a try, see how it goes. And these sponsors are how we're able to do it for you for free twice a week.
If your eyes are the windows to your soul and your glasses are the windows to your eyes, then it's pretty important to find your perfect frames. That's why at Warby Parker, we've made shopping for eyewear as easy and fun as can be. Peruse endless styles in our stores or use our app to virtually try on frames and get personalized recommendations. To find your next favorite pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to locate your nearest Warby Parker store, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello, this is Brad Bradderson of the Boredom Institute. I'm very excited to be back on the podcast here. Unexpected visit, believe it or not, but excited to be boring and to bore you with the power of boredom. Here at the Boredom Institute, we use boredom to bring you health, wealth, happiness, and more. To start you on the road to it. You know, we don't necessarily get you to the, you have to use the tools of boredom to get to the finish line. And some may say that the Boredom Institute is different or whatever, but we would not be here. Now I've also gotten some pieces. They said, Brad, are you sure? Is the Boredom Institute a real place? And I'd say to me, it's as real as anything. I do these seminars. I've been to so many Westons and many other, I know the small conference rooms of the world. These are few of my favorite right off of a freeway, not near, the conference rooms. And I'm happy to be here. Now, what I'm really happy about is this is a new format we've never done before. Or we've never bored before, if you don't mind me saying, because this is a free seminar. It's not part of the Boredom Mastery series, which is available. It's not currently available. I guess for Sleep With Me listeners, it is. But we're working on. So Scooter asked me to come in. He said, "Hey, I wonder if we could work together again, Brad." And I said, "Scooter, it would be have we worked together before?" And Scooter said, "I'm very familiar with your work." And I said, "Okay, terrific." So Scooter said he wanted to do an episode about the 7 stages of sleep with me. And I said, well, that sounds intriguing, Scooter. If I know you, I know it'd fit right in with the, at least the boredom part of the Boredom Institute. I don't know if it'll bring health, wealth, and happiness. And, many other things, but your lulling, soothing tones or soothing tones may. So Scooter said he wanted to come in and maybe do it because Scooter said, well, I could do it by myself, Brad, but I'd love to have you here. And so here we are at the, this isn't a Westin, but it's not a Hyatt. Scooter likes to try to do it at a Hyatt place, but neither one was available. So we're here at a, small place. We don't have, you're our audience. I'm so glad you're with us, listening. So I want to bring Scooter on and kind of talk about these 7 stages of sleep with me, which I don't think Scooter's familiar with. So we're unpacking this together. This is for sure. So Scooter, can I bring you in here? Thanks, Brad. Thanks for having me on. I believe this is your program, Scooter, but you're welcome. So, Scooter, what made you want to talk about the 7 stages of sleep with me? Well, Brad, it just randomly came up in an intro when I was trying to record an intro for another actual episode of a podcast that I'd already recorded. And I was trying to describe, once again, in the intro, I got lost and I was meandering. And I was kind of so I said, well, that would be a good episode. Scooter, could you tell me more? Because you've already lost, in the spirit of the Boredom Institute, you've already lost me. You've already lost me over. Can you tell me more? You had me when I stopped paying attention. Thanks, Brad, for that compliment. I wish I could think of something witty related to those quotes to make it even funnier Well, so I forgot what you were at. I think you said tell me more. And okay, so I always try to put myself in the shoes of the person listening to the show for the first time. Scooter, did you find that hard to do? Thanks, Brad. That was a softball. Holy cow, I love that. You really set me up there. I wish I was prepared for it. It is both. It is something I've done a lot over the years, probably 1,200 times. It's something very important and essential. It is something that helps soften me internally when I'm recording, and it also helps prepare me for when a notification pops up on my phone while I'm recording. Scooter, you're laughing, but I don't understand what you're talking about because you've already but so could you tell me more? You know, Brad, you might be the first person, I know you're not an AI, but you are you have some chat GPT qualities that I've never noticed before. Scooter, could you tell me more? That's a good one. You might be chat GPT 5 or something, Brad. Well, Scooter, people say I'm unreal. So, maybe, who knows? Okay. So what I mean is that it's all like a long time ago. I was listening to one of the two Scotts be interviewed about making podcasts. And Scott Aukerman, not Adam Scott or another Scott, and it was about, I don't know if it was some sort of behind the scenes show about podcasting. And Scott was kind of talking about some of the structure necessary to make a podcast, basically. And you're saying, it's really important to remember that it's always someone's first time listening. It's a little bit different than radio in the sense that most people are listening linearly. So it's not like they're tuning in for the first time in the middle of the episode. But you do have to remember, it's always somebody's first time listening. And that stuck with me. And also, a large amount of very strong feedback I've gotten, underlies that fact that Scott was correct. And that also, to further deepen it, it's it's a very large portion of that is out of my control. And even if you were making a comedy show, comedy, surprise, or maybe it's based on that song, Bang Bang Into the Groove or whatever, comedy Bang Bang Into the Groove, my two, whatever. Are you talking Newt, the imaginary podcast the two Scouts did? Are you talking Newt to me? Scooter, was that based on a book by someone named Newt? No, but that would be, I don't know if they wrote, I'm sure there's a book by that person, but probably we should just move on, Brad. Thanks, Scooter. I was thinking of Newt Scamander. Yeah, we should, no matter what Newt, probably best to move on. Oh, Scooter, you're right. I've debored things at the Boredom Institute already. That's okay, Brad. You're just doing your best to be just pulled the chat GP2. Scooter, I did, didn't I? Okay, let's not get into, you're feeling a little Tommy, Brad. Sorry, Scooter, I have to maintain my business image. Scooter, would that be ironic if I was Tommen? Like if Tommen became Mikey, moved in with you and Ray, and then as he matured, he became Brad Bradderson? I mean, I could see that path because you do have some sort of deep-seated forlorn sadness in seeking health, wealth, and happiness through helping people seek health, wealth, and happiness through boredom, Brad. Scooter, you see right through me. Okay, Scooter, let's get back to you, though. Okay, so let's get back to it. You're right, Brad. Okay, so it's always somebody's first time listening to the podcast. Now, that is quadruply so with a sleep podcast. And I say that because I think there's the 7 stages of, because not only have I gotten strong feedback, there's a bucket of feedback. And oh boy, is it a bucket of people that listen to the show, Brad. And for some reason, it just lands on their sweet limbic system. and it goes straight to the cool part of the cool circulatory part of their the old limbic or old stem, old stemmy limbic or whatever. Have you met STEMI Scooter? I have. STEMI limbic is hard to say though. You're right about that, Brad. But so for a large portion of people that tune in to sleep with me, they have immediate strong reaction. So Brad, we're getting right into this. So that is always the first stage of sleep with me. Now, not everybody experiences it. So I just said always by accident, but it is the first stage of sleep with me for a lot of people. And now everybody can experience it differently on a spectrum of feelings. And Scooter, if you could come up with what you would call the stage or a word, like other, stages, stage one, I guess stage one would be pretty, because it's not always stage one, because sometimes people listen to it for 4 years and then they get to this stage too, Brad. So it's a returnable stage. Well, maybe you could randomly look through a list of words, Scooter, and come up with some words aback, I would say. Let me see what else is on here. Grumpy. Okay. There's another one. I'm looking through these words here that listeners submitted. Definitely not adorable. Soggy. Maybe not at that stage. Maybe delicious. No. Supple. No. Serene. No. Volatile. I would say they may feel volatile after listening. Indomitable, I don't know. Briny? No. Let's see what else we have here. Scooter. Scooter, what about... Okay, we'll go to those ones. Any other words, Scooter? Well, I would say strong surprise. So I would go with... let's go through the list again. Volatile might describe... Putrid. There you go. Putrid may be... I don't know what the definition of putrid is, but they may make a sound. Like we talked about that movie where the person was quoting the famous philosopher that said, you make a sound about things. They would make a sound like putrid, like that. So putrid. Scooter, maybe you look up the definition of the word putrid for us here live. You got it, Brad. PUTRID, right? Putrid meaning. Okay, yeah. Is there metaphorical? Yeah, I would say this is right. Yeah, very unpleasant if used in an informal term. Yeah, I would say that nails it. So, Brad, stage one, the best word to describe it possibly is right now is putrid. Scooter, I didn't think of all, but also the essence of, when someone says it, they're saying it in a way, kind of like a sneeze, but not quite a sneeze. Are you with me, Brad? Scooter, I am. So let's lean into this even more together. So one of the definitions that we're looking at here, it's like leaves like that are becoming fuel for the soil. And they've been left, old leaves that are returning to the earth, or maybe compost would be a better way to describe it. So you're saying, what do you, Scooter, can you feed that back to me? Sure, Brad, I would say that's probably in some degrees, right? Because, yeah, there's all kinds of compost in the world. Well, I'll go with that. Intentional, unintentional. And sometimes you step in stuff, future compost that's even on the sidewalk, and they say it's on my shoe now. So, yeah, I would say within that spectrum, where you might say, whoa, I never, maybe if you went to an apple farm and you got to the apple farm at the right time of year when it was cool, and there was fresh apple cores being composted. I mean, it's a pretty big presumption for me to make, but you say, oh, boy. Like, this is the best compost I've ever, happened to come. And they'd say, sir, you're at our apple farm. I'm here with the Beacon Skiff authorities asking you. And I'd say, okay, great. I just come and I just So I would say that, Brad, the first stage of sleep with me, the putrid stage, or the compost stage, if people want to soften it up a bit. Scooter, did you do that? No, I didn't do it on purpose, Brad, but yeah, it's an accident. Or the old wet leaf stage. I'd say putrid or old wet leaf more than compost. Unless you were saying compost like a person in a 1920s op-ed cartoon, like they would not, and they're not speaking about compost. They're making a declaration. Scooter, for some reason, I understand exactly what you're talking about. So tell me more about this first stage of sleep with me. Brad, I was just wondering, I know we couldn't do it, but imagine if we just talked about the first stage of sleep with me for like 45 or 50 minutes. Scooter, that would be a dream. I mean, that's what that would enable me here at the Boredom Institute. We could spin it off into a series. This first stage of sleep with me is free. The next 6 to discover them and how to use them. So, okay, Brad, let's, we're only at 18 minutes or 15. Okay, Scooter, so tell me more about this putrid stage. Yeah, putrid's a nice word. Doesn't get used a lot, so I'm happy to use it, though it does maybe, I don't know. But, okay, so here we go, Brad. Buckle your seatbelt because, so people tune in to sleep with me and they have an expectation. I talk about this every intro, right? Their expectation is pretty much out of my control. And maybe there's just so many different ways people discover the show, right? Right, Scooter. And even if they have heard, part of this is like pre-sleep with me era or pre-sleep podcast era was like a softer version of this, which maybe is another stage of sleep with me probably, is like when I tried to use other sleep audio and I said, I don't think this is like, this just doesn't work. It's too tonally, it doesn't work for me. I didn't realize that at the time though, Brad. Scooter, can you tell me more? Well, I guess when I tried sleep audio at first, I was a kid. And then maybe I tried it a few times before I discovered other solutions that helped me fall asleep that weren't good for the rest of my life, but helped me sleep. But before that, I just said, this stuff just doesn't work. I didn't realize it probably worked for some people. And then I also listened to comedy radio, which didn't put me to sleep, but distracted me. And, so at some point I said, how come there's not something out there like a podcast? Because when podcasts first started, they were just like there was podcasts about everything, but there wasn't really any sleep podcasts, or I don't think there were any sleep podcasts. And like I said, well, how come there isn't a sleep podcast for grownups? And 2, it's like a bedtime story for grown-ups. It kind of takes their mind off of stuff and puts them to sleep, but in a friendly way, like a friend. Okay, Scooter, so I can already see, like, even if someone heard you describing this, and I'm not trying, like, I think they could easily enter into the putrid phase after listening to you. Brad, you really know how to butter a sleep podcaster up. Holy cow, do you get it? Thank you, Scooter. So maybe you are, I don't think you are AI. That was just a joke. Thank goodness, Scooter. So yeah, back to this, Brad. So thank you, by the way. Yeah. I mean, even if people understand the nature of the show, hey, it's like calling a strange friend and they're going to talk you to sleep. They still obviously form their own impression of that. And, so when they get here, they enter that first phase because they say, holy cow, this isn't like what I thought it was going to be like. Now, some people, that's not an issue for. So they're on the low stage, we'll call it the apple compost stage. And they say, that's great, apple compost. If everybody, even apple orchards got a compost, even the processed apples as well as the ones that fell from the tree. Scooter, so could we even get into a light fallen from the tree apple compost? Brad, do you know how to, I mean, you really know how to make boring content, really like to draw it out so that it's not concise at all. Scooter, we're a team right now. Yeah, so for some people when they first get here, it's like falling off the tree apple compost would be the first stage of Sleep With Me for them. They say, oh yeah, there's those apples there. Fell off the tree and they're going through the, the circle of life. And maybe that's all that, there's a whole, there's a range of spectrum within there. You're right. Right. Of curiosity. Maybe they're looking at the apple. Maybe they're smelling the apple. Maybe they're looking at the color of the apple. Maybe they step on the apple. Maybe they kick the apple. I mean, in a like a childlike way. Maybe they walk around. Yes, you're right, Brad. But yeah, the mildest, form would be a form of some sort of stage of the first stage of Sleep With Me, falling off the apple tree, apple orchard compost, all the way to putrid, which some people in the world may find that putrid. And if they're carrying around a unabridged dictionary, Scooter, they'd be pretty tired if they're walking through an apple orchard. Yeah, that's like pretty much kind of humorous, like a lot of Sleep With Me, Brad. Well, I know you love sneaking in references about unabridged dictionaries, Scooter. I just know you do. Yeah, well, you did it for me there, Brad. So, yeah, so they could be anywhere in that, right? Because when they first get there, they say, what is this, right? Because maybe to keep with this apple metaphor, maybe if you're at a distance and that, it's like late summer, early fall heat, I don't know what an apple orchard, if they got like you know what I'm saying? And they say, well, that's kind of a different smell of apples than I'd prefer to be smelling. Right, Scooter, but I think you went off track there. Yeah, I had a point, but I lost a point. But basically, when people get here, that's the first stage. So a multitude of things, because if I can rephrase what you're saying, Scooter, which is what great interviewers probably do. I don't know. I'm working on my skills of like just listening to people, Brad. Great, Scooter. But so you're saying people come to the show, and we'll probably get into some of the other stuff later, it sounds like. But when they get to the show, they have a reaction because one, well, now sleep podcasts are a thing. They've been a thing for a while now. So they may have listened to another sleep podcast before or some sort of sleep bedtime story for adult product. And even then, or they may have listened to sleep audio, or they may never have listened to sleep audio. But they have actually, or they may have even read your thing, which you probably haven't updated in a long time. And they get there and they say, what is it? Like, what is this thing? Would be the falling out, but a lot of times they have a much stronger reaction. Right, which I'll get into next. But yeah, so that's stage one, Brad. And we did manage to talk about that for a while, so that's cool. Okay, Scooter, what's the next stage? Okay, so this one also is going to take a lot of setting up because, again, you're having to understand and put yourself in the pajamas, as we say, or the slippers, but their slippers are probably off unless they have in-bed slippers of someone tuning in to a sleep podcast. Okay, Scooter, I'm really good at doing it for people who would pay money to go to a seminar using the powers of boredom for health, wealth, and happiness. So if you could help me. Okay, so I don't think the right word for the stage is skeptical or skepticism, but it might be, because no matter what, and again, these stages are malleable, but this is a different experience than the putrid stage, which is that, okay, I'm checking this show out because it's the podcast that puts you to sleep, even though and then he kind of explains what that means, which is a play on words. But particularly, now I don't want to create an idealized Sleep With Me listener, but I am trying to think of one person, right? And this is like one of the people I'm putting myself in their pajamas. They've been struggling to get a good night's sleep. They've tried a lot of things. They've heard a lot of people tell them ideas on what to try. And they're feeling exasperated and fed up. And then either they found this show or someone recommended it, or they heard about it in some other way, and they get here, and maybe they've even experienced some of the putridity. Is that allowable, Brad? Scooter, of course, it's a degree of putridness, I would say, but wow, Brad, you're it's like, can you, what was the band that, isn't there a song like Silent Putridity? Scooter, yeah, but yeah, stages of putridness is also works. Okay, so that's another stage where they say I'm skeptical or doubtful. Scooter, why don't you go to your list and see what you could come up with for words? Okay, let's see. Looking through these indubitably, invigoratingly, roundly, briskly. These are adverbs, I think. Daintily, naively, inadvertently, lovingly, meticulously, splendidly. Okay, so none of those are working because I don't know if we need another adjective. Okay, how about a verb? Calculates, lands, climbs, tumbles, dreams, sleeps, cuddles, spelunks, no. Pirouette, percolate, enchant, lurk, sip, walk, leap, acquiesce, colgate, saunter, swagger. What about an animal, Brad? Manatee, sidekick, houseplant, raccoons, travelers, axolotls, ferrets, sundials, emus, pepperonis, trees, lasagnas, emus, pillows, hamsters, maybe, hummingbirds, goldfish, geese. Okay, geese. There we go, Brad. Scooter, you're not going to call the second stage of Sleep With Me the geese stage, are you? Maybe the Canada geese stage. Canada geese in the U.S. Parks in California, and my experience with them stage. Scooter, you've one-upped me in inefficiently creating a list of 7 stages of Sleep With Me. Yeah, so we'll just call it the geese stage for short. Now, it may be a reaction to the geese, so this is, again, the spiritual essence of Canada geese in the U.S. parks in California. And, but so it could be like, just what is this person squawking about? But now, I guess, Brad, I'm wrong. This is more of a skeptical thing. I think it's just skepticism. Scooter, I think it's good that you decided to, while you didn't force a metaphor there. I've never seen that technique used before, but I've already learned so much. Yeah, I mean, skeptical or doubtful is what I use on the show, and I would say that that's stage 2 of Sleep With Me, is skeptical or doubtful. Is this really going to work? I don't find a way we can geese it up. I wanted to put feathers on it, I guess, Brad. Well, Scooter, this is why you've been doing what you've been doing for 10 years. Yeah, so this next stage is just, I still like calling it the geese stage, but it's like being skeptical or doubtful, because it's not, what is this guy squawking about? It's like, is this really going to work? And I'm so fed up with all this other stuff I've tried. And sadly, I guess, Brad, I mean, hopefully people check out sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you, or they hear some of the messages in the intro. And they don't, because Sleep With Me is just not going to work for most people. So in some sense, their skepticism is well-founded, or their doubt is well-founded. This is just another thing that isn't going to help me. And that's, again, another part of like how these stages of Sleep With Me inform the creation of Sleep With Me, Brad. Scooter, I might have to write this down. So the desire for health, wealth, and happiness informs the creation of boredom and the use of boredom in the quest for health, wealth, and happiness. Yeah, in your case, Brad, I guess that would be, for the Boredom Institute, that would be the thing. But do you understand what I'm saying is that knowing that someone in their pajamas or whatever, their proverbial pajamas, is skeptical or doubtful, like I don't have control over it's well-founded and there's strong emotions about it because luckily we've already gone through the putrid phase. So I can totally get it. Like when somebody says, hey, 20 people told me this helped them sleep and I strongly loathe you. Some people that's going to be the putrid stage or the compost stage, but other people will just be like, hey, I tried this and it never worked. Now that goes into the next stage of Sleep With Me. Maybe. I don't know if that's the next stage of Sleep With Me, Brad. Let me check my non-notes. Great, Scooter. What's your next stage? Oh, it's, okay. So it's like, we're going to have to find a word for this one. So it is like, the next, yeah, let's see what we got here. Here's some exclamations. Goodness, noodles, rapscallion, yike, aha, crikey, gadzooks, shazooks, oh, bananas, wowza, wowzers, excelsior, whoa, dang, cowbunga, zoinks, wowza's popular, cool, yowza, bazooks, beans, geese, stoke, yikes, brilliant, fi, yikes, fi. Okay, so fi, hold it, can you put a pin in fi, Brad? Scooter, I will. I'll hold, how about if I hold fi in the palm of my hand? Blimey, oh, champion, pie, carumba, gadzooks, wee, dang, goodness, awesome, whatever, yay, shucks, cowbunga, goodness gracious, criminy, sheesh, dude, zoinks. Okay, so let's look up C-R-I-M-I-N-I, criminy, and phi, right? So criminy. This is interesting, Brad. I like working with you. Criminy. Okay, criminy is, a disbelief, but let's just see if it's like has a twin, let's look it up in Cambridge. What do you say, Brad? Scooter, that's fine with me. No, there's one that's positive, an example. Used to express surprise, or the fact you are not pleased about something. According to Cambridge, there you go, Brad. Okay, so criminy works. Criminy, criminy and criminy. Okay, Scooter, why don't you look up phi next? Scooter, I didn't realize you were going to be doing the 7 stages of grief at a Renaissance fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair one, but Brad, I spelled phi wrong. I spelled it F-O-R. Is it F-I-E? Scooter, were you because you were laughing at my joke? That you're getting, you may be Tom, and, but yeah, I was because, criminy and phi. Okay, phi is accurate. Disapproval, disappointment, and strong feelings. So phi, criminy, phi, criminy, phi, criminy. I think phi, criminy, phi is, stage 3. Scooter, would they be like, with their fist and they're looking at the sky? Yeah, I mean, there's many memes maybe that could fit it. But yeah, phi, criminy, phi is when, now this could hit like in any of these, this is a common reaction. Very, very, unfortunately, very, very common. And I guess it could land at any time, but it usually, strangely enough, even though I ask people like, they usually are in a little bit deeper in the episode. So in some sense, while these aren't always experienced in this linear manner, 1, 2, 3, and if we'll get to any more, but is that a lot of people at first they feel like it's putrid and they say, oh boy, this does remind me of some sort of compost. Then they say, okay, well, he's being nice and he wants to help me fall asleep, but I don't know if it's really going to work. So I'm skeptical. I'm feeling a little geesey here. I guess that was my geese metaphor, is like, when I go running where there's Canada geese, they are doubtful about me and my presence in their park. That's how they view things. And they usually let me know by making a sound. But also they say, by the way, I'm not going to get out of your way. So you're going to have to run around me while I make this sound. Why don't you run in my compost? Scooter, this sounds like what happened. Yeah. Yeah. So they then they enter the geese stage. I don't know if this is going to work. Then, depending on the situation, and again, this could be people that end up supporting the show. They'll enter into this new phi, criminy phi stage, because usually the people that are in the phi, criminy phi stage early, they just stop listening. It's the people that are at the phi, criminy stage, phi stage now. Maybe they're 10 minutes in or 15 minutes in. And so, yeah, they go through that feeling. And now they could go through it at any time, including people who listen to podcasts for years and decide that they've reached the phi, criminy phi stage. And let me know about it. But I usually try to funnel it. That's why I have sleepwithmepodcast.com/no-think, because I'm so familiar with it. And it really is outside of my control, Brad. So I say, it still doesn't change my feeling about it when I hear about it. But I think that sleepwithmepodcast.com/no-thank you, while it hasn't been directly attributed to working, there was a presentation at a podcast conference by someone showing the interlinked, with Sleep With Me interlinked with all these other sleep podcasts and meditation podcasts. And I think a lot of them were discovered because of this method for going through the phi, criminy phi stage, but not staying in it. That would be the ideal goal. If I could control it, which I can't, but I can mitigate it where I can by talking about why do we make the show? Why is it structured the way it is? How do a lot of people listen to the ad-supported version linearly? The intro is not designed to put you to sleep. You could fall asleep, explaining those things and offering, hey, I still want you to fall asleep. That's just the truth. It's also that I don't want anybody to be stuck in a phi, criminy phi stage. Unless, they're playing a character at a Renaissance fair, walking around saying that. Okay, Scooter, I get it. They're very upset, and they're yelling phi, criminy phi, and that's a normal reaction. All right, so then the next stage is, Scooter, we have 4 stages left, and so I'm going to have to ask you to be a little bit more to actually come up with terms for them and get to them. Okay, so the next 2, there's one. Okay, so there's one that kind of goes, Scooter, do you have a term or why did it call it a stronger version of the Harvard different ways of interpreting the Harvard negotiation project, based on only the title of the book, saying, I'm going to use my idea of what that means. Scooter, you're really outdoing yourself with not being able to come up with this. Yeah, that's good. So you're saying another stage of Sleep With Me, possibly the next one, because if you're in phi, criminy phi, you may not be getting out of that, right? Right. So they may never experience this next stage, though a lot of people do because they listen 2 or 3 times or they come back to the show and they do enter this next stage. And, there are varying, I think this one kind of flows into the next one, especially for the time we have, which is it's maybe this should have been done another way, it's like a lot of people are trying to figure it out, and waiting for it to start. So yeah, I guess Scooter, what does that have to do with the Harvard negotiation project? I think it's kind of like an active process. When the podcast is actually working, it's a somewhat passive process, right? They're barely listening. But for a new person or a person that hasn't gone through these stages, and maybe some people skip over the stage, but maybe some people are in the stage, like they say, they've been activated, right? And again, we're hoping, and again, one of the whole purposes of the intro and putting myself in other people's proverbial pajamas is to say, okay, let me help you through these stages. And I guess that's why we're making the show. It's really helping me stay aware of how important this is to say, okay, let me get you through this stage where you're in the active version of saying, how can I negotiate with this podcast? And when you're doing that, you're trying to wonder, well, the biggest question is, when is this going to get started? When is it going to get sleepy? And those thoughts could be related to the other stages as well. But I think this is one where it's like your Scooter, it kind of is a call to attention, which is instead of being instead of leaning into misdirection, they're directing their attention at you. So I kind of understand. This is a little bit like the geese metaphor, but I think you're almost there. Yeah, I mean, the idea that the podcast is always going nowhere, it's always never getting started, it doesn't, those are things that you just can't understand until you experience them. And that's one of the things with Sleep With Me is like, it's always never making sense. Scooter, yeah, so I think those are pretty good. Do you have a word for that one? Or do you want to just move on? I don't know. I think that's pretty good. I mean, when's it going to, when's this going to get sleepy? I don't know. Yeah. But Scooter, I'm going to have to hold you to this. I think we have to come up with a specific version to this stage. Okay. Brad, Scooter, why don't we go through these occupations? Okay. Haberdasher, gum scraper, train something, director, dancer, zookeeper, projectionist, nightlight, data scientist, sanitation, coder, HR scientist, janitor, baker, teacher, midwife, writer. I don't know, midwife kind of works in a metaphorical way. Retired, boxcar driver, horse whisperer, maybe. Scooter, I've always wondered, did you ever see, isn't there a movie, The Horse Whisperer? You think so? So, I guess it would be either so this is another, okay, so let's take it this way. This must be the wrong horse whisperer midwife. You can't be the horse whisperer you can't be the correct horse whisperer midwife. Horse whisperer midwife stage, Scooter, I've got it. That works. I understand. You say, you can't be qualified to be the horse whisperer or the midwife. And you say, but I am. You see, you're not technically, you have creaky dulcet tones. You're not technically whispering, but I'm the horse whisperer midwife. Yeah, I'm here to midwife and horse whisper your sleep into existence. Or how, I'm always never getting started. So, okay, Scooter, that makes sense. Now, what's the next stage? I think the next stage is, I guess, yeah. I mean, I think this is a different flavor than the phi. This is kind of like a projector type thing, but I would say that the next phase is, and again, this is something people experience all over, even the people who listen 10 years, Like loathing, I think, is another stage of sleep with me. And again, it's people move through the loathing, or it, like I can't tell you how many times I've heard or seen something that says I loathe you, or a version of that in another vocabulary, including super fans of the podcast. And I think that's just like acknowledging it here together, Brad, is that's a normal thing. Like, and that it's a normal stage of sleeping. Now, it doesn't mean everybody should let me know. Like, it means everybody can move forward through the thing, because I don't really have control over what makes people loathe me. And in some sense, I think the reason I say that projection is like, I know for me, and again, putting myself in other people's proverbial pajamas, is the idea of like, is this something like it's too close to, like I'm in too much harmonics, and so like I'm having a strong feeling about this. And if I move on the other side of those feelings, I find, I actually like this person because we share some things and they're exposing some vulnerability to me. But at first, my reaction, Scooter, are you talking about people that drive like you? Wow, you really crushed it, Brad. You're exactly right. That would be a simple way to say it. Yeah, how I feel when I see someone driving and I don't realize they drive the same way as I do. So I have a strong feeling about it, which would be loathing. You're correct, Brad. And but Scooter, you can move on from that. Like if you say, bless you, or like whatever. You're yes, Brad. Okay, Scooter. So let's bring it home here. We got 2 more stages of sleep with me. Okay, Brad. Well, the next stage is kind of, maybe this is more of the Harvard negotiation project type thing. It's like one of the last stages. And again, that we've tried to create solutions for it. And again, this could be at any stage in their sleep with me experience, but it does tend to come second to last or last for a lot of people. But not most people know, like, and I talk about this a lot. It's like, so this would be the if only stage. Okay, Scooter, did you just come up with that? Yeah, like, I guess because I have so much experience with this, Brad. It's just, people say, if only the podcast was this, this, and this, or if only. And that, again, is a stage people could either depart from the show initially or long-term, or they move through that stage. And that, again, is only so that has become a little bit more under our control, because a lot of people, so the majority of people experience the free ad-supported show linearly, and they wind down during the intro, and they fall asleep during the story. And I kind of talk about that in every intro, because, again, I'm putting myself in the people's shoes in that case that don't do that, because that's, even though it's the majority or the plurality of listeners that listen to the ad-supported show linearly and fall asleep during the story and wind down, there's other people that are experiencing, and probably, well, it's not the majority, a large portion of people, an if-only experience. Now, there might be an if only, that another sleep podcast can fulfill that if only. So that, and those people may be experiencing if only earlier in the stages of sleep with me. But then there's if only, like, if only it didn't have music, and we've been able to do that in different ways. Or if only it, and say, okay, we could set a sleep timer. Or if only, you could set your or you could create a playlist, or the whole way we create content where it's constantly varying on a kind of 3-episode style release, written episodes, recap episodes, random story episodes, and then we repeat, or we're adding on new stuff all the time. So there's always something different. So it's like, well, if only it wasn't TV recaps. It's like, don't worry, the next episode won't be a TV recap kind of thing. So trying within your control to kind of create some customizable options for the podcast for people that would want to customize and have it as a different experience, but keeping in mind that's only somewhat on your control, especially when what you know from experience and feedback is like, most people are kind of just passively listening in bed based on kind of what you laid out. They start the show, they're getting ready for bed, or they're getting in bed, winding down. They would prefer to just listen to a free ad-supported version of the show. And eventually later on, like you said, in the 30 or 40 minutes of the show, they're drifting off and falling asleep. And maybe they let it stop at the end of the episode, or maybe they have a sleep timer set for 45 minutes or 60 minutes. Exactly, Brad. You really get it. And Scooter, what is the final stage of Sleep With Me that you like? Because this one would be a closer, right? Yeah, I mean, I think the final stage of Sleep With Me, while there's a lot of ways to describe it, is like, I had no idea I was always looking for this. I never knew. I've been searching. I didn't know I was searching for this my whole life. And that's how you know you're at the seventh stage of Sleep With Me. And again, that can change for some people, and that's not applicable to all listeners. But it is like for large people, it's like, and they may never even actually be cognizant of that, right? And that's fine too. Like they may already be asleep, right? And then it's just working for them. But I think it is something more than it just works for the people that are reaching that seventh stage, which is like some sort of experience. Like I had no idea something this strange could be out there, and I'm so glad it is. And again, to harken back to the kind of some of the, what can in the middle stages is like, that I've really, like I'm trying to be there for the listener and be myself and have my guard down, right? And I'm a little bit different like you are too, Brad. Scooter, I had no idea how different I was until you maybe gave me a backstory that I'm really Tommen from Game of Thrones, which I'm not sure but it could be. But yeah, you're right, Scooter. Sorry, I didn't mean to like create a backstory for you. We didn't create a backstory. It was more of I was just curious that you could be. I may be, Scooter. If I know, then I'm just playing along. That sounds better. Yeah, I like that, Brad. And I guess, so yeah, that's the stage of sleep. The last couple are kind of simpler because it's like, then I'm so glad you found the show because I'm so, like, I made it because of that, because I said, wow, I don't feel like something. I mean, part of it is feeling seen and saying, hey, I'm different. I'm looking for something different. And I want to feel like seen in that way. Like, I had no idea I was looking for something that's a little bit like calling a strange friend, but I'm glad you're my strange friend or pseudo friend. Scooter, I'm glad too. And I'm happy we got to go through these stages of Sleep With Me together today. I'm happy. Yeah, thanks, Brad. And thanks everybody for listening. And that's the 7 stages of Sleep With Me. I probably only remember some of them, but I get to listen to this episode a few times before it comes out. So thanks and good night. I want to thank everybody that became a boyfriend recently. Couldn't do without all you that support the show directly. Laura, Jacqueline, and Marie Michelle. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Laura H., Aubrey, and Bonnie. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Cindy, Melanie, and Rebecca. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Mara, Eileen, and Bruce. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Rachel, Susan, and Rob, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Amanda, Kelly, and Mark, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Jennifer, Robin, and Emily, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Gerard, Cicely, and this, thanks, and good night. And Shane, Spencer, and Ted, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Thanks, everybody who supports the show directly. Whether you did on Patreon and you're moving over to Sleep With Me Plus, you support on Sleep With Me Plus, you support the sponsors, you're referring people to the show via our free referral program, or you just help the show out with kindness, or you're just sleeping. That's great, too. But yeah, Sleep With Me exists because of you, and really couldn't do it without all of you. And that's not just something I say. I mean, the whole reason the thank yous are in the show and I record the thank yous is puts me in the mindset that you're listening and the show is important to you. And there's like a lot of people that recognize what goes into the show and supports it back so it can be there for everybody. So I appreciate it. Here's Scoots maybe asking for a Tuck You In sponsor or something else. Thanks and good night. All right, buddy, this is Scoots with a Tuck You In message about, I've been asking people when they sign up to support the show, why? Like, what is the biggest reason someone supports the show? So I don't know if you want to do this. You could put yourself in their shoes. I'm going to walk you through what some people have said, the kind of recurring themes. And maybe if you put yourself in their shoes, maybe you're the one tonight that'll support the show. So here's how it goes normally. This is the most popular kind of response. First they say, yeah, no, Scooter was talking to me. I am the one who can support the show and who wants to. I've just been putting it off or thinking someone else is going to do it or tuning it out. But yeah, I'm the one. And I remember what my life was like, what my bedtime was like before I found Sleep With Me. I remember that, and I didn't like it. And I don't want to go back to that. And I know, just like Scooter says, the show can't exist unless people like me support it. If I don't support it, or someone doesn't support it for me, the show won't be here. And I don't want that either. And then what they always do, and they tell me about this, the people that actually have been signed up lately, they go right now. So if this is you, go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus right now. And sign up and then worry about the bonus content tomorrow. Because if you put it off, you will put it off for years. But as soon as you sign up, you could have that relief. You see, I'm a part of this now. I'm a part of what's keeping this show going. I'm a part of this bedtime relief for me. Now I don't got to worry about whether the show's going to be around or not. And for other people too. And that feels pretty nice. A lot better than what it used to be like. So thanks for supporting the show. And when you sign up, you get a video from me saying just that. The second one kind of goes very similarly. And it does take hearing me ask 30, 40, 50 times that suddenly something clicks and it's like, man, this show, Scooters really needs some support here. I didn't realize it just clicks at some point. This podcast needs people to support it to exist. And I am so happy this is in the world. It changed my relationship with sleep like nothing else had. There's not something that could replace this. And if Scooter stopped narrating the show or making the show, I would really miss him. Even if it was somebody else or a different company making the podcast, I would miss this version of Sleep With Me if it was gone a lot. Because I like it. I love it. And it makes my life better. I really enjoy it. And I don't want to go without it. And I do know now it needs my support right now. And then right now, maybe you're the one. They go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. They sign up. They set up the bonus content a day or two from now when I send out the follow-up welcome video and stuff like that. But then they're like, wow, I get a video from Scoots when I sign up. Man, maybe now I feel closer to this show. I feel really good because I've done my part. I don't got to worry about it anymore. I was putting it off. I put it off for 3-4 years. That's a common refrain lately. And I'm glad it clicked, and I'm glad to be a part of this thing. So if that's you, I hope it is. You can support the show. You're in a position to, and you will right now because you'll miss it if it's gone. Don't wait. sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. And the next one kind of looks something like, okay, put yourself in this person's shoes. Maybe this is you. Maybe you only use the show when you need it, or maybe you use the show pretty often, but you're like, finally, I found something that makes my relationship with bedtime better. I tried all this other stuff. I paid for a lot of stuff, but Sleep With Me has made my nights better, and therefore my days are better. And I don't want to go back to what it was like before the show was a part of my life. So me paying $120, $240, $60 a year, like Scoots is serious. That's another thing they realize. My $60 a year will change the future of the podcast. My $60 a year is a really big deal to the show and to Scooter and to keeping it going. So I'm going to go right now and support the show at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. And they do that right now when it clicks. And then suddenly after they do it, they feel good. And then they feel even better when I send them a thank you video. Because then I say, hey, what made you sign up to support the show? Because it changed my life. Because it did this for me. It helped me in this way. Because I don't want to think about not having the podcast in my life. Or the podcast has helped me through these major things in my life. And I want it to be around the next time something else comes up. If that's you, you can sign up at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. But don't put it off, because if you're like most people, you'll put it off for 2 or 3 years. And we could really use your support tonight. So think about it. Thanks.